Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. Today, we're taking a look at the MartinLogan Abyss 10-inch powered subwoofer. When it comes time to add a subwoofer to your setup, there's quite a bit to think about. A huge sub might not be the best fit for your room, it can look out of place, or even make your TV and furniture look smaller. Plus, if you're tight on space, a massive box just won't work. So what are your options? Chances are, you'll lean toward a smaller sub, usually something in the 8 to 10 inch range. The biggest issue with a smaller sub though is they usually don't dig as deep or offer the same output as a larger one. But does that always have to be the case? It's been almost 19 years since MartinLogan first rolled out their Abyss subwoofer line. And guess what? They're back with an all-new version. The Abyss 10 is the flagship of MartinLogan's new Abyss line. It uses what MartinLogan calls a hybrid woofer system that pairs an active 10-inch aluminum driver on the front with two 10-inch aluminum passive radiators on the side. Powering the Abyss 10 is MartinLogan's magnitude amplifier, which delivers up to 1600 watts peak, 800 watts RMS. The subwoofer also has a frequency response from 22 Hz all the way up to 120 Hz plus or minus 3 dB. It's also compatible with Anthem room correction, otherwise known as ARC, so you can easily calibrate the subwoofer to your room. And because placement can be tricky with a smaller sub, MartinLogan even includes a built-in wireless receiver, which is normally an extra cost on most other subs. Now let's move on to the design. MartinLogan has always been known for subwoofers that not only perform well, but also look great too. And the Abyss 10 is no exception. Right out of the box, it's clear that this isn't just another plain black cube. The glossy black finish gives it a premium look. I personally love the exposed drivers, but if you prefer a sleeker appearance, you can easily cover them up with the round grills. The Abyss 10-inch measures 15.4 inches tall by 15 inches wide by 15 inches deep. It's pretty compact, but its 3-driver design and MDF enclosure is surprisingly heavy, coming in at just over 55 pounds. Looking at the back panel, you'll find just about every connection you would need. There's not only RCA and XLR LFE connections, there's a stereo RCA in, speaker level inputs, though they require a banana plug, and a sub out connection so you can easily daisy chain the sub. The sub also has a tone sweep button on the back so you can pause a test tone at a specific frequency to number 1, locate any rattles in your room, and number 2, find the perfect location for your sub in your room. Next to that button, you'll find an ARC USB input for room correction. Setting up the Abyss 10 is pretty straightforward, though fine-tuning takes a bit more time. You can use the ARC Genesis software for PC or Mac, which is the same software that you'll find on Anthem's AVRs and Pre-Pros. It works with an ARC-compatible microphone, though it is sold separately, unless you have one from another ARC device. Here's how it works. Plug the ARC mic into your computer via USB, then connect the subwoofer the same way. The software gives you access to before and after graphs, quick measure tools, and lets you fine-tune the correction curve. Once you launch the ARC software, you're greeted with several options. The quick measure tool checks your subwoofer's in-room response, while the ARC calibration guides you through a full setup process, which we'll go ahead and do here. Once you open the app, hit the Launch ARC button. From there, you pick the subwoofer that the computer is connected to. After that, you can choose the number of positions you want ARC to measure. Default is 5 positions, which I'll leave that setting for demo purposes, but you can measure all the way up to 10 positions. From there, you can choose your microphone and hit the Start button. ARC will start measuring position 1, and once it's done with each position, it will show you the measurements. Once all the positions are done, you can review the measurements, upload the calibration to the sub, or adjust anything you see might be off. And if you check out the curve viewer, you'll see the initial measurements, the target curve, and the final corrected response. After calibration, you get a review summary that shows the correction curve, which you can then upload to the subwoofer. You can also control the sub through MartinLogan's Sub Control app, which lets you adjust volume, low-pass filter settings, and change the phase. It also has a tone sweep feature, so you don't have to push the button on the back of the sub every time. I first ran ARC to compare the differences, then removed the ARC calibration and ran it through the optimizer using a Trinnov Altitude 16. Moving on to the performance, I have to say, I was really impressed with the Abyss 10. I wasn't expecting such a presence from a 10-inch sub, but it delivered control bass that paired great with my Motion XT F200 speakers. And here are my in-room measurements. Just to note, the dip at 53 Hz is from my room and not the sub itself. To really test it out, I started with Waikiki Original Mix by Deep Chills. If you've never heard this song, it's a laid-back tropical house track that has deep bass that can easily get muddy. The Abyss 10 handled it well, staying tight and balanced and keeping the rhythm punchy. Next, I had to play Red Handed by Felix Labonte. This track has a really deep bass line and layered with a bunch of electronic elements. Here, the Abyss 10 brought out the low-end details that otherwise might be lost on lesser subs. And even at higher volumes around 95 to 100 dB, the sub maintained its composure. And of course, no subwoofer review would be complete without a movie test. So I threw on the forest ambush scene in Guardians of the Galaxy 2, in particular the scene where Rocket is taking down the Ravengers. If you haven't seen it, this scene is packed with blasts and gunshots that will give your sub a nice workout. The Abyss 10 captured every detail in this scene, from the energy burst from Rocket's traps to the low-end thump from the shockwaves. While the Abyss 10 does dig deep, down to around 25 Hz in my room, there's that old saying, there's no replacement for displacement. Larger subs with bigger drivers will still have an edge for that sub 20 Hz frequency, but the Abyss 10 delivers great depth and impact, especially for its size. So what's the takeaway here? The MartinLogan Abyss 10 shows that even a compact subwoofer can pack a serious punch. With a price tag of $16.99, it might not be the cheapest 10-inch option out there, but its design and well-executed hybrid passive radiator setup deliver way more output than you would expect from a typical sealed sub of this size. Sure, larger subs might reach those ultra-low frequencies a bit better, but not many can match the overall performance in such a small package, earning it an AVS Forum top choice for 2025. If you enjoyed this video, please hit that like button, drop a comment below, and don't forget to subscribe for more reviews. Thanks for watching.